the manner in which a Jyotish student studies and how easily he destroys his astrological thinking and career. The first thing people forget, this is a Vidya of the Rishis. You got to learn it from the Rishis, from their books, from the ancient classics, from our ancient astrologers. We'll end up learning it from modern astrologers, ignoring the classics. 99% of the practicing astrologers have not even read the Bible, the Gita of astrology, that is 𝗟𝗲𝗿𝗶𝗃𝗲𝗃 Shastra. Forget understanding it, forget memorizing it, forget quoting shlokas. Chapter 22, shloka number 14 says this of Brihad Jataka. What is happening today? We are learning a Shastra that we were supposed to learn at the age of 8. I have with me Mahendra Purohit ji, who's a very senior astrologer and a teacher in Saptarishis. From 80s, he has been learning astrology. We then have Kaushik ji, based in Calcutta, who has been learning astrology from few years. And we have Jyotika ji. They are all also a bit young in astrology, so we will get to learn more from them as to what mistakes they have committed and what they feel is the right approach. And they are elderly people who are mature enough, who have experience in life, whose children are studying or already studied and settled abroad at high positions. Or people like Kaushik ji, who works in top management level, and they rub shoulders with people who have studied and made it big in their careers. I always tell people how to study is very important. How effectively to study is more important. And how to apply that in practical life is much more important. For example, time management is essential. We all need to learn time management. It will reduce our stress, it will reduce our BP, it will reduce at least 100 to 100 future diseases. I hope Mahendra ji and everybody present here would agree with me. So, what is important to understand is, forget effectively studying. That's an art in itself. Let us learn first what mistakes we are doing. Kaushik ji, what do you feel is the mistake being done by people?
Thank you, Sunilji, for giving me this opportunity to speak something about on the subject. I will say it from my experience. I may be wrong, I may be right. It's for you and the audience to validate. I started astrology very young when I was 20 years old in 1982 because my family had a history of my father and my mother knew, my Tauji knew, but they never did it on a professional platform. So from childhood, I was interested in the subject and I learned from the books, the classics, whatever books were available to me. And I did it for 5-6 years. And I could reach a level of a very standard accuracy. It's around 30-40% of prediction, not very pinpoint, and I was not confident. Whenever a chart is to come, my knees used to shake, that from where to start and from where to end. Then luckily I got a guru and I undertook classes from him on a one-to-one basis. So the first point that is needed is you need to have a guide to sail you through this journey of astrology. That is very important, selection of a guide, because this is an occult science. You have to have a guide to handhold you and to take you through the journey. And that guide obviously will be teaching you systematically. You have to start from the basics and then gradually come up to the higher concepts of astrology and know the entirety of astrology in a process. Now, my experience is Today, we all want to learn it in one day. It is not possible. You have to give the due time to the subject for you to grasp it. Like if I ask someone to get a baby delivered in 5 months, it will not happen. It will take 9 months, 10 days. So that much time is required for getting a baby. Now, if people try to hasten the process will get destroyed. So first of all, have a guru. Second of all, give it time. Learn systematically for all the topics that are covered. Side by side, the most important is your reading. You should go on reading the classics and other good books available in the market, which will be suggested by your guru only, to enhance your knowledge. Everything you can't get from the guru. You have to have your own initiative and acumen and develop the intuition and the eyes for seeing how the planets talk to you. So that is what is important. Once you complete the entire course of the astrology, all the subjects, that I call academic astrology, then you have to venture into the predictive part of it. Now, all the tools that we know for astrology may not be used in predictive astrology or in predicting in particular event. So it is very important that we know to predict one event, what are the tools that we need to engage. So that is another step. After completing learning astrology totally, that is the academic part, you have to come to the predictive part. And the last thing is constant practice. Practice, if we do not see charts, then we will lose and we'll forget all that we have learned. When I completed the course with my guru, my family was not very interested to allow me to come to professional astrology because the subject was not very fair. It is slightly ill-famed, and people don't see astrologers in the good vision. And it doesn't come, my family's vision was it doesn't commensurate with the position that I have in my other job. So you say, no, you are working in a multinational and you have a reputation and you will be doing astrology. So this is just not accepted. This will be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde concept. But then I took my wife to my guru, and my guru said a very valid thing. He said there are 2 points. One is if he doesn't practice, he will forget very soon whatever I have taught him. Number 2, since the subject is being dealt mostly by people who are not competent or rather do not have the right desire to help people, it is absolutely necessary that good people should come to in the subject, so that the subject, the authenticity and the authenticity of the subject remains, and people know what astrology can deliver and what astrology can do.
Purity of the science remains still.
Absolutely. So he told my wife that if you don't allow, what will happen? All other incompetent people will come and fill in the market, and the subject will earn more reputation, and people will not get any use of it. So it is essential that under these circumstances, people should come and practice with absolutely good intention and do whatever he can to help the mankind. Yes, money factor is there. Everybody, we all charge money. That is because this is another point. I have seen that when predictions are given free, nobody pays attention to it. The same prediction, when you charge money and take, people will do it, or people will listen to you, people will value you. जो free में आता है वो जितना भी important हो या अच्छा हो, सर वो उसका कोई value नहीं है. तो इसीलिए as of date, believe me, whatever I earn from this subject, I give it to my daughter, and she keeps it in a separate fund and uses it for my exigency of expenses in my family. I don't bring astrological money into my day-to-day life. I manage my day-to-day life, and I can keep my purity. And one more thing, this is my belief, and slightly beyond the subject, is that whatever you learn, whatever you do, unless you have a blessings of God, you will not be able to go beyond a point. Everything is not written. Everything is not written. And in order to have the blessings of God, you have to remain very pure in your intention. There are so many clients who come and ask me for remedies, give me a stone, this, that, and I can make money by suggesting stones, but I refuse. I said, no, you don't need it. My mother-in-law wanted to give me a diamond during my marriage, and I refused. That I cannot wear a diamond. It will destroy, it will have very ill effect in my life. So please don't give me a diamond, give me an American diamond. That will be fine with me. Because she didn't understand the difference between a diamond and an American diamond. For her, both are diamonds. So at the nutshell, I would say that a very systematic approach. And today's students, what we do not know the subject as a whole. We don't know the syllabus, what to study. We take piecemeal from the YouTube and we try to enhance our knowledge. Now YouTube, why people come to YouTube? People come to YouTube primarily for his own advertisement. And the contents that are revealed there are very partial and at times twisted. Twisted, like what you were saying a little earlier about the digital marketing. Now, there are two ways of digital marketing, Sunilji. One is the ethical digital marketing that is required in today's world in order to have a business. Nothing wrong in that. But unethical digital marketing is what I say one should refrain of. And most of the channels, most of the videos in that YouTube, I find it's quite unethical because there is suppression of knowledge, partial reveal of knowledge, twisting of knowledge, claiming knowledge to be of somebody's own, which is not. And there are many mistakes and wrong knowledge is given in the YouTube. That is most important. People do not have the knowledge. Just because I am having a video in YouTube does not make me an authority in astrology. So students have to understand from where to study, from whom to study, from how to study, and then how to practice, put it in his real life, and how to help the mankind. This is a subject to help the mankind. It's not, in the process you help yourself, but the primary objective should be to help the people who are around you in whatever way it is possible. I think, sir, this is my experience. Whether I have been able to do justice to your question, that is for you to decide.
So you have raised quite a few valid points. Unfortunately, many of us might not realize the truth of it right now, but over a period of time, some of us would gain that insight, what you have said, over years of experience. You probably are 50, 55 plus. I do not know your age. So you've been...
I am 60 right now, sir.
60.
So 4 decades of dealing with
astrology.
Yeah.
Right. Also, let me quickly add to the viewers, Kaushik ji is one of the students in one of our classes. And it's an honor to have him because even after 4 decades of experience in astrology, he is so open-minded to learn. That unfortunately closes for most people after 1 year, maximum 2 years. After that, most people become gurus. And the last resort is after 5 years of this thing, they become super gurus or they are suddenly from Brigu lineage. That's what I noticed. I mean, I do not know what to say. When they are my students, they don't even speak about their father being an astrologer. Every day they'll talk 2 hours, learn privately from me. All of a sudden, when they launch themselves on social media, okay, they write a book, they write Brigu lineage, they say father also from Brigu lineage, so many decades, generations. And I feel it's so easy today to fool, it's like saying, "Main Amitabh Bachchan ka najais aulad hu," so it's so easy to say that. I mean, it's okay, no problem. Jyotika ji, I'll come to Mahendra ji. Thank you so much, Kaushik ji. Really appreciate, and it's an honor to have you. Okay, I'll come to Mahendra ji. Thank you. Just before we come to you, Mahendra ji, quickly, because you're senior most, so last should be this thing. So I'll take that liberty as you are a friend. Jyotika ji, quickly, briefly, and quickly what, how many years you've been into astrology, and openly you can say what you feel people are committing mistakes. Brief one-liners.
Right.
Brief one.
Pranam to everyone and to sir. I would start my journey as now I'm 53, and I would start that long back when there was no YouTube. But I started my journey with, on the papers, people used to read news, but I would always go at the back page and read what is what is written in Libra or in other signs with which I associated. And I would read about my brothers and sisters, and I would, excitedly go up and tell them about it, that this is going to happen, and not realizing that what it was actually what they meant. And that's how I started. And of course, at my young age, I saw my father was though he was a businessman, but he had the knowledge of Reiki. And my mother was a palmist. And but I used to always watch them and not really be very inclined towards this. As I was later, I was in fashion. And later with time, after YouTube, after lockdown, when I started doing meditation early morning, so it's just something happened that I started getting inclined towards the knowledge of why are they saying that, yes, this person is going to have a hard time, but it is not that it is related to the person. So I started knowing more, but I had no knowledge that there was something called books. So I started writing on the YouTube how to go about. But let's say if I hear somebody talking of Rashis, so that's how when I came to know there was a on Libra, on Scorpio, on Capricorn, and I started reading about it. Then I came to know, oh, there's something called Rashi. When I started writing on YouTube, was my medium, not through books. And when I started, when I would hear somebody, I didn't know how to follow a guru or who to follow. I was very confused. So let's say they would use a word like, oh, there is, because of this Rashi, one line like Ashwini, nakshatra is where they have used. So I would immediately divert myself and learn about nakshatra. I would write nakshatra and I would go, oh God, now he said this and now that went above me. So again, the third line I would pick up another path. So I never had a very constructive way of learning things, but I had knowledge which was always bits and tips, where I would calculate it together and still struggle and sometimes cry.
So how many years you wasted with the piecemeal knowledge? The small
So
thing learned from here, small thing learned from YouTube, small thing learned from an article.
So I think as I started very late, so I would say 1 year I wasted there.
And
And
that's still you're lucky. Still you're lucky, because I know people who have wasted more than 5 to 10 years on YouTube and
yes,
achieved nothing in life.
yes, sir.
Achieve nothing in life is not the word.
Right,
And
sir. So,
most people that join our courses, when I ask them, they say 10 years, 7 years, and they do not even know yogas. They don't know Paap Kartari Yoga,
absolutely.
or, a simple Mahapurush Yoga, or whatever, or just broadly they know. So
Right.
now you feel it is the unsystematic way of learning. And do you feel today's youth or even elders today, they want fast food astrology? That's the whole thing behind the problem, deterioration of knowledge.
Absolutely, sir. Now I understand this is more because we are learning a hidden knowledge. This is not something, even to become a doctor or to become anything in life. It is so important to know the basic, to really, live with it, with the breadth of it. And that's how you can because you're playing with people's life. You cannot just sit and have a partial knowledge and just open up your own YouTube and start talking. I think it's ridiculous and it's a completely wrong way of
I feel
approach
Mahendra
of
Purohit and Purohit, you and Kaushik ji would agree. What's happening today is the Western influence plus the modern Indian knowledge, okay, that, that has corroded, the psychology part has corroded into Indian astrology, where everything is Saturn has moved into Aquarius. He wants you to do this. He wants you to do that. He does not want you to do that, as if Saturn is speaking to the astrologer. I am ashamed sometimes. And what is happening is, I realized this when after reading so many Facebook posts and this and that, because I'm on that, I'm hardly on YouTube, watching YouTube videos or reading many books, I realized many people have gathered this kind of psychological thing. See, in the West, it is necessary for you, if you are a practicing astrologer in US, it is necessary for you to have a degree of psychology. You have to advertise it. Why? Because Westerners do not want to know what event will happen. They want to know what are the possibilities. You will be a useless and non-successful astrologer if you are predictive in nature in the West. If you say this date marriage will happen, or this year marriage will happen, okay, or you will marry so and so person only, okay, so you will be a useless. People want to know possibilities. One of my friends, he consulted the topmost Indian astrologer in USA. Okay, now he had that background of predictive, and he predicted you will marry an accountant. He used D60, Tithi Pravesh, everything in the book to predict that. At that point of time, that man was having a very serious relationship with an accountant. It didn't happen. Now he's upset with that astrologer. Now, when I tell him, okay, there are possibilities, but that possibilities is extrapolated out there in the West, where eventually you go to an astrologer, will I marry so and so person? Okay, they will just give 5 possibilities. Yes, you can marry, but you'll have to bow down a little bit, you'll have to adjust a little bit. All the normal crap that you have to do as such in life, within any relationship. And person walks out fine. How much does he pay? Now the rate has increased from $250 in 2008. Now it is $400, $450 per hour in the West. What do you get out of a reading? Nothing. Now the modern Indian astrologer, he gives you all kind of spiritual. The moment he comes to know that you're interested in spirituality little bit, he gives you such a reading where you feel, oh, you have this yoga in the horoscope, that yoga in the horoscope. You feel at the end of this life, you will almost attain moksha. I'll give you a small example. I should not be criticizing it. The man did a very sincere effort. And he actually comes from a real hardcore tradition, and what his Nanaji did. Okay. Today, more than 90% of the astrologers in the north follows his Nanaji's book. Unka ghar chalta hai. Their house, income, complete expenses taken care by that one book. This guy saw my horoscope for 2 seconds. Last week only I had a chat with him. I intend to bring him on this channel. And he said, at the age of 24, you should have taken sannyas. I said, obviously, I did not do so. I'm talking to you. Then he said, what are you worried? From a young age, Lord Shiva is talking to you. He's taking care of you. For 2 seconds, I felt elated. He repeated it 6 times. Then I believed him for 10 seconds more. And that's it. I am saying, obviously, I have a head between the 2 shoulders. Okay. Others in my place would start feeling they are a yogi, they are a divine sage. Are you understanding what's happening in today's world? I mean, how we interpret Jyotish is also. Most important, I feel astrologers, Mahendraji would agree, astrologers come, they think that if they read a book, learn astrology easily, or learn astrology without tears, if they read that one book of 𝗟𝗲𝗿𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗲 or any senior astrologer, they feel at the end of that 150 pages, they would have mastered astrology and would start predicting. Most people who join courses, if they will learn 𝗟𝗲𝗿𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗲 in half an hour chapter, they ignore what is the in-depth meaning of and usage of 𝗟𝗲𝗿 and how difficult it is or how easy it is. What we feel today, the biggest problem I see is everybody wants to do 2 courses and start a shop. And when they can't start that shop, when they can't predict effectively, they feel the teacher was useless. What they fail to understand is the volume of knowledge is so high and so contradictory. Contradictory knowledge. Maths is simple, 2 plus 2 equal to 4. Physics, chemistry is simple. This is the formula, this is how it works. It's something that can be proved. Here, unfortunately, we have one book saying 2 plus 2 equal to 4, another book saying 2 plus 2 equal to 5. And unfortunately, in practical experience, we find both are working at one place or the other. This is the reason why astrology is a super science. Mahendraji, tell me, you have seen so many students. Quickly, just tell me one-liners of top 3 mistakes people do while starting off in astrology.
One thing I think is the mindset. Means the people generally, today's generation people, students, they want to learn astrology for earnings. They should first have the mindset of learning astrology. So for some time, quite some time, till they don't become quite efficient, they should not start making it a professional astrology. In earlier days also, we have seen for first 25 years of age, the students used to be in Gurukuls. They learned the things completely. And then afterwards, after 25 years, they were left in the society to earn money or like this. So astrology, one should not think I will see some YouTube channel videos, 10, 20 YouTube videos, and I will be able to earn money. So what this is what they want to do. They just want the quick fixes which they can use in their astrological field and they can earn money. So this should not be the mindset. Mindset should be I have to learn the astrology, and for learning astrology, one has to have the structured way of learning it. Means what to learn, how to learn, from where to learn, and what is the time I would learn for, and how much will I read per day, daily. So this kind of planning has to be done first, and then after learning, after years, he thinks that, or he thinks that he is now quite efficient, and then he should come into the practice of earning. And second thing is, today's what happens is that without knowing the things, they just want to remedial astrology now has come these days. So by doing the remedial astrology, they want to again earn the money. So this is not the fundamental astrological science. Was science meant for those people who does not have earning the aim of earning the money using astrology. Astrology was for helping the people. But as Kaushikji said correctly, that if you give the astrology freely, then they won't value it, and they won't learn it. They won't value the predictions made by you. So that also is the one thing. But one has to learn the astrology properly for first few years, and then you should go into venture into this professional, making it a professional. That's what I need to say. And the YouTube videos, these are coming these days. These are not complete means. They are partial. They are giving partial knowledge, and that may not be effective because even if you want to apply the quick fixes in your professional astrology, in your astrology, then you have to have the basic knowledge, because applicability of your quick fixes also depends upon your knowledge of basics. So that is most important thing. The mindset has to be changed. Learning mindset is needed for this.
Thank you so much, Mahendraji, for this. To sum it up, to conclude, I really request people to just invest 250 rupees, take up any basic books, Essentials of Vedic Astrology by Dr. 𝗟𝗲𝗃𝗲𝗀, 2 books, 500 rupees or something like that. At least that's what was the cost earlier. Or whatever be the cost. Invest in it, study it systematically, read each paragraph twice, then go to the next paragraph, finish one chapter, then reread that chapter 3 times, making notes, marking with a sketch pen or a highlighter pen. Okay. And then finish that book. Again, go back to that book, visualize your notes. Visualize your notes, make a memory of it, that, close that book, and memorize the key points that you have learned. And write those notes down separately. So you'll have 2 notes, one in your book, another in another notebook. Keep on revisiting those notes every day or at least twice a week. Taki, it becomes pakka. And then when you read a chart, when you see a chart, try to apply those notes. For example, moon is in Punarvasu right now. So what is the tendency of Punarvasu? To keep on repeating. Are you all understanding? Moon is in which sign? It is Gemini. Gemini is hands, Gemini is communication, communication equipments, travels, short travels, siblings. So some communication with siblings will be repetitive. Something to do with your hands would be repetitive. You will end up doing the same thing repetitively until you master it. Everybody understanding?
Again, in astrology, the importance of revision is very much there. Means revision, revising the thing. So that's why Saptarishis, I think, have started road sessions, and they have been doing it for so many years. So road session for students is very important, and that is very good thing, I think.
People don't do it. Other classes, other beginners courses don't do it, and it's absolutely essential. Okay, we still await your lecture on manual calculation, how to do manual calculation, because that's the traditional calculation system of how to calculate the horoscope. Hardly few people left who calculate. Even 𝗟𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗀, as I was told in his courses, they teach manual calculation. I can be wrong. I mean, I do not know much about his courses, but that's the traditional way we need to do. Anyway, thank you so much.
Sunil sir,
Everybody.
just one point, that during my earlier days, there was no computer. And in order to find the exact position of the planets, you have to use and go to the extent of using a logarithm.
Yeah.
So that is how we learned astrology, and I'm really thankful to God that I was born in a period when there was no YouTube and hardly 2-3 hours of TV only.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
That's also the same thing.
Same
I
thing.
also learned how to cast a horoscope manually first. And we cast so many horoscopes manually.
Yeah, otherwise, and I used to find it very difficult to cast horoscopes of people who were born outside India.
Very difficult. Very difficult. Anyway, thank you so much, Kaushik ji and Mahendra Pratap ji and Jyotika ji. Thank you so much.